What's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate Tool Reviews. Well, I got an interesting video for you today, and I wanted to talk about Milwaukee tools for a minute here. Now, when it comes to Milwaukee, of course, they're like one of the most popular tool brands out there. But I want to put aside all of the quality of tools, power of the tools, and let's just talk about their marketing entirely. Now, what I want to get to with the marketing is let's talk about why Milwaukee Tools is so successful and so popular among the tool world. If you look on, YouTube, a lot of reviewers talk about Milwaukee. There are honestly more Milwaukee tool review videos than pretty much any other brand out there. It's one of the most, sought after brands when it comes to, doing reviews on, buying for the trades. A lot of people just go for Milwaukee tools. And I will say one of the things you got to give credit to Milwaukee for is going to be their marketing. And let's kind of get into some of the marketing here that Milwaukee Tools likes to use. And I'll show you why it just kind of makes sense that Milwaukee Tools does so well. So right behind here, I've got the Milwaukee Tools website. This is just the homepage right here. And you can kind of look at some of the boxes Milwaukee uses, when they box their tools in. You can also look at a lot of their advertisements when you're looking at, Home Depot. And they use a lot of really cool terms like, more torque than 200cc gas. Let's go to the next one here. Pack out. You can start building your system right here. No one really offers that. Makita's kind of got that Mac Pack system that no one really likes. I'm a Makita guy. I'm not a fan of it. There's no online builder for that at all. Same thing with DeWalt. They're always talking about, outperforming, outpowering, outlasting. Those are great terms that Milwaukee uses that really no one else uses in the tool industry. And that's why Milwaukee can do so well. They're always, marketing themselves as outperforming, outlasting. All these terms that Milwaukee uses are just excellent for really attracting, new customers. And that's why Milwaukee just does so well. Even just looking at their website, in my opinion, I've got DeWalt tools, I've got Makita tools, I've got Milwaukee tools. I've got the most Makita tools of any brand that I currently own is all Makita for the most part. But when it comes to Milwaukee's website, they're honestly the easiest to use. And I'll get into that in a little bit more here. But look at this. If I'm looking for the newest stuff from Milwaukee, I can look at the pipeline. Easy. It's not that easy when you look at DeWalt or Makita's website. And if I'm looking for products up here, it's very simple. I can choose M12, I can choose M18, I can choose MX Fuel. It is super easy to pick from. But I'll get into that in just a little bit here. Let's move on to one thing that makes Milwaukee stand out really well. And this is also true of DeWalt. I'm not saying, this isn't true for any other brands, but Milwaukee has an excellent, array of places to buy their tools. While I might say DeWalt might have slightly more, DeWalt's at Home Depot and Lowe's, but there are different lines at those different outlets. It is, a little confusing at times when it comes to DeWalt tools, and I'll get into that in a little bit as well too. But when it comes to Milwaukee tools, you got Northern Tool, you've got Home Depot. Even in one of my previous videos, I'll leave a link to that in the description. I went to my Makita service center, which is also my Milwaukee service center, and it's basically just a giant Milwaukee store. They've got like 2 Makita saw blades there, and that is it for Makita entirely. So the amount of Milwaukee tool stuff out there is just absolutely incredible. Milwaukee does an incredible job of putting their products in front of the end users. It is just fantastic how well they do at that. Looking at just like Northern Tool here, and there's not really a good alternative to buy DeWalt tools at. Like if you want to say, hey, I want to buy, the entire M18 line, I want to buy some outdoor power tools, I want to buy, or sorry, not M18 for DeWalt, it's going to be the 12-volt line. Outdoor power tools, and I want to buy, a lot of their 18-volt tools or 20-volt max tools. There's not a single store that carries all 3 of those lines of tools. Unfortunately, Lowe's has the exclusive rights to the 12-volt stuff, and outdoor power tools are mostly at Home Depot. So it's tricky when you want to buy all DeWalt, you got to go to different stores. Where Milwaukee makes it super easy. You can pretty much buy anything you want from Home Depot or Acme Tools or Northern Tool or CPO. It's not hard to buy all the tools you want from Milwaukee from just one location. And that's what makes Milwaukee stand out quite a bit. So let's move on here. Also, let's talk about their marketing when it comes to social media. I kind of mentioned it before about a lot of reviewers. They review a lot of Milwaukee tools. Milwaukee is a very popular name to review when it comes to tools. A lot of reviewers like myself on YouTube are, we're going after the views, and Milwaukee is a brand that a lot of people are looking for tool reviews for. That's just how it is. But let's compare here two things when it comes to these Instagram profiles here. And let's look at Milwaukee Tool here. So we're at 2,700 posts and 1.5 million followers. I'm not even going to mention their, pictures or descriptions or anything. That can be a little subjective. Let's look at the hard facts here. Number of posts and number of followers. So those are just the numbers right there. Milwaukee's at 1.5 million followers. And let's go over to Makita. So it looks like Milwaukee has more posts. That either means they've posted more often or that they have posted longer, however you want to look at that. But they just have more posts, and they also have more than double the amount of followers on Instagram than Makita Tools does. All right, now let's look at DeWalt. DeWalt is at only 1,400 posts, so Milwaukee is almost double the amount of posts that they have. And then followers, Milwaukee has another 500,000 followers on Instagram. So looking at that alone, you can just see the popularity that Milwaukee Tools has. And whether or not it's that, how they market their products, the sponsored deals they're doing with a lot of, reviewers, but they do a really good job of, showing a convincing argument that, hey, their tools are outlasting, outperforming, outpowering. And of course, their tools are in front of a lot of people. If you just type in tool reviews on YouTube, I'm sure the majority of what you're going to find is going to be Milwaukee Tools. And that's just because they are so popular, and Milwaukee does a fantastic job of being able to continually show that hey, we make awesome tools. Here's why you want to buy them. And it's not saying, DeWalt and Makita is not doing that. But DeWalt and Makita have a few issues when it comes to their marketing, of course. But one thing I wanted to show really quick here is, let's say we're going to buy a reciprocating saw. And this is something that I've kind of ran into once in a while. If you're talking to someone and say, hey, I want to buy the most powerful reciprocating saw from this brand. So if I were to go to Milwaukee Tools right here, and let's say we want to buy the most powerful reciprocating saw that they make for, say, the 18 volt or 20 volt line of their tools. This will be easy to compare versus other brands. Milwaukee makes it super easy. You have a good, better, best system set up, and they really don't deviate from that system at all. So their good is going to be their regular brush tools right here. It's very easy to tell the brush tools. They got a very signature look to them. And then when you go to their brushless tools, which currently they don't have a brushless reciprocating saw, it's going to go right to fuel, which is cool. That's even simpler. There's just less tools to pick from. But they do have a Gen 1 and Gen 2 fuel. That's very easy to find out just by clicking on those tools. They also have one key, which we'll just ignore that for now. But essentially, we have 4 reciprocating saws to choose from. All are going to be M18. And if we look at the M18, the newest generation of fuel, it's of course going to be the second one if I don't want one key, which the one key fuel is going to be obviously your top pick. If you just want to buy the best of the best, there you go. So super easy to find out that, hey, that's going to be the most powerful M18 fuel reciprocating saw that they make. They use that name fuel to really designate, hey, here is our top of the line of this tool. And it's very, very easy to find that out. I wish other brands would really use some type of name, that was say, hey, here is the top of the line. There you go. Milwaukee does that just fantastic by just, showing off. And it's a cool name too. Fuel, that sounds just kind of cool. Sounds tough. And sounds like it's, fast. When you think of the word fuel, you think of fast. You think of maybe a top fuel dragster. So when you think of those things, it really puts that in your mind of, hey, this is a powerful tool. This is a fast tool. This is a top-end tool. So let's compare what we know here from finding that tool at Milwaukee, and let's move over to DeWalt. So I'm at DeWalt here. You can't search by 12 volt or 20 volt, but let's go to reciprocating saws here for a minute. And I will admit, this is one of the reasons why I kind of got out of DeWalt, is just kind of their naming confusion here. And I'm not going to go into this too much. I'm not trying to bash any brands on this. I'm just trying to show why Milwaukee does so well. So if you were to say, hey, what's the best reciprocating saw I can buy here that works with my 20 volt system? That's going to be a great question, because I honestly have no idea. So DeWalt used to have the XR, and that's been around for 20 years now. XR used to mean just their top of the line, just like Fuel did. But DeWalt got a little more confusing with that when they started getting into some more of the 60 volt stuff and kind of allowing that to mix and match. So now we've got the names like Power Detect. We've got, 60 volt max. We've got Flex Volt. We've got some other stuff thrown in there where it's not super clear as to what the best reciprocating saw really is. So this is more of the basic 60 volt max saw, but then we've got the 20 volt right here, and this is going to be the new 20 volt. And we've got, power detect with this one. We've got the power stack with this one. I've got a 20 volt right here with a flex volt advantage. I mean, what's the best reciprocating saw to choose from these four tools? I don't know. It's kind of crazy how they do that. So that's part of the confusion that I have. If I'm saying, hey, I want to buy the best DeWalt reciprocating saw I can buy right now, which one do I go buy? I don't know. It's just I'm not sure, and that's one of the things that with DeWalt is that makes it confusing for an end user. Now on the same page right here, here's something that DeWalt doesn't really do. I can tell this is their DeWalt 20 volt. This is the brushless tool. This is going to be the good on when it comes to Milwaukee side. That's great. But we don't have a lot of like better options. It's just going to be, XR, and then they throw like flexible advantage, power detect in there, power stack, which is the battery. It's hard to tell exactly where do I need to jump up from there to my next tool. Say this one breaks, I'm going to go to a higher end tool that's not going to break me. I want to go to better quality. Which one do I pick? And I think that's why Milwaukee can really take some punches at DeWalt, is because their line of tools is just easier to navigate. Now let's check out Makita. So Makita, I would say they are not as confusing as DeWalt, but I really wish Makita would do something when it comes to their wording to designate, hey, this is our top end of the line, like like the fuel name with Milwaukee. It really shows that, hey, this is going to be the top end fuel tool. Unfortunately, Makita doesn't do that. And they've, of course, got their 36 volt line of tools here. They've got subcompact, which is going to be more of the mid-range stuff. We've got, of course, brushless, which when you kind of say brushless on some of this stuff, that kind of means it's the top end. I've got this reciprocating saw here myself, but it's questionable because could you say that this is the top end 18 volt and then this is the top end 36 volt, but they both use the exact same batteries? So it's not the best comparison against Milwaukee here, but if you get what I'm saying, that, not having a, name here, it could be confusing if you don't know the Makita line of tools very well. You might be confused as to which one is going to be the best to pick. When you just want to buy the best tool for the battery system that you currently have, it can be just a little bit confusing there. So basically, in conclusion here, when it comes to Milwaukee tools, they have an excellent naming system that I really feel is lacking in when it comes to DeWalt and Makita. They have just a way of advertising where they are always trying to outdo the previous gen of tools, talking about more power, more torque, more protection, more durability. They have an excellent way of talking about that really not any other brand does. If a new tool releases, say from Makita, they don't really claim too much of those tools. They're not claiming that it's faster, more durable, or better. They're kind of leaving it up to you to decide as to what is better about it. And kind of same thing with DeWalt. DeWalt's kind of just throwing stuff out there all the time, and I don't really feel like they explain why I need to buy that tool all the time. It's just, here's the new tool, it's XR, it's 20 volt, they're going to throw some other names at it. But is it the fastest tool? Is it the most powerful tool? I'm not sure, because they don't really have a good naming thing like Milwaukee does to really show me, hey, this is the better tool. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys kind of stay with me there as I'm talking about some of the Milwaukee advertising and the marketing about really what makes Milwaukee stand apart. So guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day and stay safe out there.